Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of the Stygian radio show on Sonic Scout Radio. Sonic Scout Radio is a global online radio station meant to showcase unsigned independent artists, and my show Stygian focuses on underground electronic music and its culture. During my show, I present tracks by underground electronic musicians that want to receive more promotion, and I also interview different artists in the underground electronic scene, as well as other music production tips, instrument demonstrations, synthesizer reviews, and insider information on the audio industry. In this week's episode of Stygian, we are going to start off with a Q&A session by the Dutch speedcore artist Lord of Speed. He's going to tell us a bit about his experience in the European speedcore scene, as well as some advice to young producers wanting to learn how to make this kind of music for themselves. After the Q&A session, I'll be talking a bit about an industrial hardcore track that was submitted to be featured on the show. And then to finish the show off, I'm going to be doing some more instrument demonstrations and discuss how to actually go about creating your own electronic dance song using a MIDI daisy chain of drum machines, synthesizers, and a music sampler. Before diving into the interview and the rest of the show, I did just want to say thanks to my Patreon supporters, the artists who make song submissions so I can present them, and anybody else who decides to donate to or sponsor the show. I did actually get a tip this last week, which was sent to me directly through the Sonic Scout Radio app. So stuff like that helps keep the show running and helps keep it productive. With all that said, we're going to get right into the Lord of Speed interview, followed by the industrial hardcore track I'm going to talk about, and then a little bit of a music production lesson. Okay, cool. So first question, let's start by having you explain a little bit about yourself and your music.
Well, my name is Wessel, also known as Lord of Speed. I'm from the Netherlands. I am 33 years old. I mainly produce speedcore and extratone, but on the side I also produce a lot of other different styles of music. I like to experiment a lot, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you're mostly known for your speedcore productions. You said you also produce extratone, some other genres, but what was it that initially inspired you to make speedcore?
That have been DJ Plague from CSR. When I was younger, I always went to this chat room on speedcore.ca on Thursdays, because there was a radio show who Plague hosted, called This is Terror Radio. And in those days, I got inspired by what he did. I was really in awe of him. Like, holy shit, what he does, I want to do too.
Yeah.
And so, and he was also really supportive. Like, he actually gave me tips and listened to my first work and shit, and gave me like advice on how to start and continue and everything. So that he's basically the main reason I started producing speedcore.
What did you say the artist's name was? I didn't catch that.
DJ Plague from Canadian Speedcore Resistance.
DJ Plague?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of them before.
From a CSR, the logo is really, really known.
What country is
the circle around it?
What country is that artist from?
Canadian Speedcore Resistance is the label.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's interesting because I never really thought of like Canada as some place where there's really much of a speedcore scene. I always thought of it as bigger, like in the Netherlands, then also other certain, I know there's like Speedcore Italia. And then last week I interviewed a couple artists from the UK.
Yeah.
But in the Netherlands, what is the speedcore scene like, and how is it like online compared to the in-person parties?
Well, in the past, like a couple of years back, it was more prominent, I think. Like we had the bigger names like Noise Kick, Noise Fucker, Bonehead, Prince of Darkness, The Untitled, and those guys. Most of those guys are they are like retired, or they quit, or they are doing something else. And now it's mainly like more on the internet, like more with the net labels and shit. Like you have Imel. Imel is also from the Netherlands.
Oh yeah.
You have me, and let me think. Well, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Ramon. He organizes Legion of Speedcore, the parties, and he also produces under DDSL. and under the Disintegrator. And then you have other friend of mine called Conkill Bastard. Those guys are also not really that active, but at least Ramon still organizes parties. But next to that, it isn't really active in the Netherlands. So really,
Okay. So these are all like artists that you know from the Netherlands. Do you know them
yeah.
like in person or are they mostly like online friends still?
All of the guys except for the older generation, all the newer guys I actually know in person. I've met in real life and shit.
Like parties and stuff?
Yeah. Like I met at when Noise Replaces Live from Chorister Project in Czech
Oh,
when we had
okay.
to play there. And Ramon and Erik Kunke Bastard and the Disintegrator are like close friends of mine. They are actually like from where I come from, where I first lived. They are also from that origin,
Okay,
that
yeah.
took that location.
Yeah, I recognize some of the names like from the net label scene that you mentioned, like Kerwa Style Project. I think you said Cunt Kill Bastard. What was it? Prince of Darkness. I think Prince of Darkness actually, I don't know if they're still active, but he used to have a project with Black Death because I used to talk to that artist as well.
Yeah, that's correct. If I'm right, Black Death took over like the thing in the STK in the Speaker Terror Kinetic.
Yeah, that was it.
Because
Speedcore
first it
Terror
was
Kinetic.
Bonehead and Prince of Darkness and RDZ, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure about it, but they had a bit of a fallout, and the Black Death took over.
Oh, okay. So let's say then, like, if somebody is new to speedcore, they want to start learning more about it. Are there any artists or albums that you would recommend them as kind of like essential speedcore listening to familiarize yourself?
For me personally, you really have to go to Germany because Germany is like the speedcore country in my eyes. Like you have the guys like Kreislaufstörung, Qualcommando, Disco Kant, Deutschlager. You have Igoa. Those guys are all have their own unique sounds when it comes to speedcore. Like Igoa is more like the techno-ish speedcore. Kreislaufstörung is really aggressive and distorted.
Yeah.
Deutschlager also, but more chaotic. Disco Kant is more how you say it's more also aggressive, but not as chaotic as a Deutschlager. And then you have like, Disco Kant is also on the part of this aggressive, but it's still a different sound. They all have like their unique sound. So that I would tell people like check those guys out. But in the internet label scene, like Speaker Worldwide from Torsten, he does a really good job about with promoting a lot of different and also new coming artists. So if they want to like also promote themselves or get a bit into the scene, then they should contact him.
Yeah, Speedcore Worldwide. Weren't some of your early releases on there as well?
Yes, correct. I have I released a solo album on there and a couple of APs and side projects. I also released on Speaker Worldwide.
Okay. You said earlier that Speedcore actually is bigger in Germany as opposed to the Netherlands.
Yes.
That's interesting. So I thought like I always associated Germany as being more like techno and like, Berghain and stuff like that. And then I associated Netherlands with more like Gabber and like hardcore.
Yeah, I can understand it, but it's like Germans are crazy people. Like they do all the music styles they do it into extreme levels. It's like their techno scene, the tech with the two Ks. It's like
Oh
the
yeah.
more raw and simple, but really bassy and pushy techno sound that you don't find anywhere else. But when it comes to speedcore, but that's maybe my personal taste, the speedcore, nothing can compare to the German guys. Like they have such legendary names and such artists that are like made like the first steps, or how you want to call it, like the foundation of speedcore, really, in
Mm.
my eyes. Like in Netherlands, we also have a couple of guys, but those guys are all like they quit or they became really commercial, and that's personally for me is that a no go, like for the speedcore scene.
Okay. Yeah, I think I actually remember the term speedcore came from an album on Lenny D's label Industrial Strength. It was, I think, called New York City Speedcore. Have you heard of that
Yeah.
track?
Yes, yes, of course, I have heard of that track. That's funny because that's also why CSR, G Plague, it's called Canadian Speedcore Resistance, but they mostly produce terror because in America and in Canada, everything above the 200 BPM was considered speedcore. That's
Mm.
what he told me. So that's why the term actually came from there. And in the Netherlands, you had more the terror. The terror became more a thing. And then the Germans took the term speedcore and brought it to like extreme levels. Like the BPMs went high up, and you also got like splitter core and whatever. But that's a debate on if it's the real genre or not. But I'm not going into that right now.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually not this weekend, but the next weekend I'm going to a show here in Phoenix where Lenny D is actually going to be playing along with the Outside Agency and some other artists like that.
Oh, that was right. Ancient is cool, but they are more crossbreed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are some production tips for artists who want to start making their own speedcore?
Personally, I think what's really important is like your kicks. Kicks, because speaker is mainly focused on the kick drums, and you want to have a really punchy but still bassy kick. And what I always do is like in my software I use like microtonic, for example, and then I put some distortion on it, and then I just twist knobs and shit till I have a kick I like. I export that kick as a how it's called, a one punch, like a one sample, so as a wave. So you have a one hit kick, and then I reload it into Fruit Loops, and then I put a Fab Filter Saturn on it with some presets, which pumps up the bass. So you have like you start with making a kick, you export that kick as a sample, you reload the kick into your software, and then you put some other FX to push up the bass, so you still have a full kick. Otherwise, what I noticed is that if you don't do this, you sometimes the kick will sound empty, or it will have a lot of not enough low end and shit.
So kind of like having one sample that you render and then reopening that and then processing it further again after
Exactly,
rendering it.
exactly.
Okay.
So I have this folder on my computer with all self-made kicks who are just boom 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 boom.
All right. Besides speedcore, then you've produced some other genres, terrorcore, hard tech, Frenchcore, extra tone. I remember as distorted maniac. Which is your
Correct.
favorite genre to produce, and in what ways are these genres similar or different to make?
Well, I actually really enjoy producing like trap metal beats, like the really distorted, hard trap beats where guys go scream over, like rap scream over. I find that really, I enjoy that a lot. I don't know why, maybe because I also enjoy the genre itself a lot. And
Yeah.
compared to speedcore, it has some similarities, like the distortion, etc. But it's still like trap music is completely different from speedcore with the build up and the mix down and this kind of sounds and rhythms you use. So that's still. So I can still insert my love for distortion and for hard kicks, but also make something that's more musically, like how people like to call it, like with actual rhythms and some melodies or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like really enjoy producing that and chiptune, like the old 8-bit
Chiptune.
sounds, because
Okay.
I'm a Nintendo freak.
Yeah. So, typically people see speedcore as being very underground, but there's other genres like gabber and hardcore techno where they've seen some degree of mainstream success. Like some
Yeah,
names like Anger Fist, for example, or Masters of Hardcore events are somewhat mainstream. Do you think
yeah.
speedcore will ever get a larger or somewhat mainstream appeal?
To be really honest, I hope not. It's for me personally. I think speakers should stay underground because that's what makes it unique. And
Hmm.
I really see the speaker scene apart from all the other hardcore subgenres and hardcore scenes. It's its own world. Like they're really different people from the mainstream artists and mainstream party goers, because they have a really different mentality. I always say like speaker, you have to feel it and understand it, Otherwise you can't learn it. Otherwise it will just sound like noise to you. You have to really have this feeling for it. It's like I can't really explain it, but it's not something you can learn. And I really hope it will stay that way, because what I notice is every time something becomes more commercial, it mostly gets ruined by the cliche things people do in the music, and the party goers who are like not the right audience for the music style. So I hope really Speedcore stays underground and will never become a commercial. I don't think there's a market for it anyway.
Do you think that's what happened in the Netherlands with certain genres like gabber or Frenchcore, that when
Oh
they
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
bigger?
Like the hardcore on itself, like the mainstream hardcore got ruined because it became such a hype. Like you in the 90s, you had the happy hardcore, whole happy hardcore thing and shit. That was more like I see it personally as a mockery or like an insult towards hardcore, because of the like the childish, fucking little toddler niveau of music and shit, and you know.
Yeah.
And it was purely made to make money. So I can't stand that shit. And now, personally, I find the hardcore being ruined with the whole up tempo bullshit hype, because of it's not hardcore anymore. Like for me personally, a hardcore kick needs to have a punch and a bass. And nowadays, it's all some weird screeching sound. I don't know how to call it. Like as soon as you can make a melody with your kick, you need to stop. That's my personal opinion, you know. And also the scene itself, like Gabber, how it was in the past, it isn't anymore like that. Now it's more become a contest of being the most everyone has to wear the kind of outfit, otherwise you're not a real gabber, and you have to listen to this and this, otherwise you're not a real gabber. All these stupid rules that didn't comply, weren't there when when it started. So it really became this commercial, like soap series scene, almostly.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what happened in the United States with dubstep. And I mean, I still
Yeah,
like the more commercial dubstep, but I'm a much bigger fan of when it originally came from the UK, like in the mid 2000s. It was a lot more underground, and then once it became
yeah,
commercial and everybody kind of like jumped on that bandwagon, it just became like,
exactly. That's also what happened with hardcore. Like with Brostep, hardcore became a bit like Brostep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really a shame, because it's such a good scene, and it has such potential and has such a meaning for people. But like every party's, we had this moment that every party, instead of only hardcore stages, they also like included a hardstyle stages, which doesn't really fit there or belong there, you know. And that's all just because they want more money, and or like with Thunderdome, that they quit and then they did this like remembrance party, and that went so well that they decided to start again. Like oh sorry, we didn't quit. I mean, that's like, no, I don't understand the kind of thought process.
Okay. Well, regarding the future of speedcore, how do you think the sound will change, as opposed to, the culture? Because it's already very experimental as a genre. So do you think in the future it will continue being more experimental, or do you think it will kind of go back to more old school roots of being more like minimalistic and distorted 909s?
Well, what I noticed lately is that it got a lot of influence from the flashcore scene, like from French, with the laser kicks and the more atmospheric, trippy sounds and shit.
Yeah.
Or that's maybe because of, I know people who are really into that shit, but I noticed that a lot of influences comes from there, because that's now become a bit more popular, like a bit more known and shit. It could be that it goes a bit that way. But what I also noticed is that no matter what time period and what moment, there will always be like a few guys who still keeps to the old style, and still keeps like doing what they always done. And the speedcore, that's the beautiful thing about speedcore, and especially Extratone. It's like it can be anything, but also like nothing. It can be it can include all those sounds, all these different other genres and shit, and it just really depends on which artist you listen to. Like Core uses a lot of breakcore and donk and funny samples in his sounds. But then you have the Kaiserslautern, who is just aggressive and really, really noisy. And then you have like me, I'm trying to do more like atmospheric and more like vibing. But I took that from Oostfront Hate System because I really like his music, so he inspired me a lot. But then you also have like, and then in the past you have like Noise Kick. Noise Kick was really simple, Fruity Loops sounding speedcore, like boterhammen kaas onder water opeten. It's just a funny Dutch sample, and then, you know, but I think it always comes back to the basic, like because people for example, Speedcore Gewalt, Jason, he plays really hard and really extreme sets because he really understands the feeling and of speedcore, and people like that will keep the sound going as it is and won't really change with all the influences that come from outside.
What are some other genres of music that you listen to besides speedcore? Do you mostly listen to extreme electronic music? I know you mentioned some of the other like terrorcore. You said you listen to some trap metal. Are there any other genres that you listen to?
I enjoy Deadstep a lot.
Deadstep?
Deadstep, like the dubstep, but with mental influences, the more like heavier sounding bass drops and shit.
Yeah.
I enjoy rap, like normal rap, but then more like I'm really, really how you call it? I'm really picky when it comes to rappers because for me personally, rap has to be or has a really deep meaning, or it has to be really hard and aggressive, like horrorcore and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, like the gangster rap with "I have so much money," blah blah, that I can't stand that shit because it's like a low IQ in my eyes.
Okay.
Next to that, I also listen to a lot of metal styles, like from everything from heavy metal to core grind to metalcore, whatever. I don't really listen to the like calm music, I think. Yeah, I
You
can
don't listen
enjoy
to calm music?
a piano, like a piano piece. I can enjoy that kind of shit. Like I can respect and enjoy the other music styles, but I'm not one who will put it on personally, like for to listen to myself. But when it's on, I can listen to it and I can enjoy and see the beauty of the music itself.
What about something like dark ambient where it's still kind of dark and experimental, but it's not really hard?
Like I said, I could listen, but like when someone else in the room would put it on, I was like, oh yeah, cool. But personally, I think I will get bored because I miss a certain energy, a certain drive in the music that I need to really get into it. So what will probably happen if someone would put on dark ambient music is that I will insert kicks in my head under the music that's playing. Like I will remix it in my head because then I can enjoy it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the music styles I listen to are really extreme, except for chiptune. But that's just because I have like this nostalgia for the old bit Nintendos.
Okay. What is the future of your music project?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I'm not planning to quit anytime soon. I still have like I want to do a lot more with Lord of Speed. But there's still Maniac. I still also want to do more because those are just fun things to do. I want to focus a bit more on the trap metal, like with the rapping and the beat making and shit. Maybe I will focus a bit more on that. I also have like a lot of like side projects who were like one time or something I really want to redo something with because I still want to keep experimenting and insert stuff. I want to learn how to make that step. I want to. I like to sometimes try to make psycore, psytrance. So yeah, I am not planning to quit anytime soon. So I guess you can say that you should expect more stuff coming from
Yeah.
also from sites you won't expect.
Did you say those stuff like the Death Step and the Psycore, were you still planning on releasing it as Lord of Speed or a different alias?
No, I have like in total I have like 12 different artist names.
Oh wow.
I'm like schizophrenic when it comes to that. I have like you've done Load of Speed. This is the main name. I Peptic is for my friends called Techno. Distorted Maniac is for my extra tone. Then I have Genital Sickness, which is a shit grind, digital grindcore band kind of stuff with 8-bit influences. I also released an EP on Speak Worldwide under that name. Then for my Dead Step, I have Rotting Weasel Corpse. For my Psycore and Psytrance, I have Space Weasel. Then as rap and trap metal, I release on the Necrophile. That's my rap artist name. Beats I do produce on the Lot of Speed. Then I have Mario's One Up. That's my chiptune alias. Then I also have Hungry Guinea Pig as a metal side project because guinea pig, I find it sounds really metal to me. Like it's such a sweet animal, but the name guinea pig is really metal to me. Then I also have I had Wessex was also a side project. I produced like all kinds of stuff under it. What do I have more? That's it basically.
Are those mostly then like side projects where you look at it as Lord
Yeah.
of Speed is your main project, and then you just kind of do that more on the side when you want to branch out to different genres?
Yeah, exactly. Most of those names also I don't really have a release with. Or what I like to do a lot is I do collabs with myself. So I do then a lot of speed featuring Marius One Up, for example. And then you have just my speedcore, but with a lot of 8-bit influences. Or I pick like a lot of speed featuring like Distorted Maniac, and then it's still speedcore, but then with the distortion and noise from the Distorted Maniac alias combined.
Okay.
That way I also am able to like create new things from the same from old stuff, or from the known aliases. Then still I can create something what's unique or not really typical for what you expect from the alias.
All right. Well, I only really had one other question. And then I can kind of open it up if you just wanted to mention anything else. But what are the best ways that your fans can support your music?
Well, I don't really have merch right now. I really should start thinking about doing something like that. The best way that they can support me is to share my music. Like my music should be shared. It's free for all. So go to my SoundCloud, show your friends, show your mom, whatever, show everyone you know. That's the best way you can support me. And next to that, as soon as I have merch, then people will know, and then they can support me maybe that way. But
Cool.
mainly like spread the music.
What kind of merch were you thinking? Like mostly clothes or something else?
I want to make like t-shirts and sweaters, like the really cliche, like what everyone does. Then I also want to make stickers, maybe a flag would be cool. And next to that, I really don't know. Like I really should look into that, but it's really financial is like a bit of a problem for me. That's why I
Yeah.
also still don't have any real like merch.
What about like physical releases? Do you have any physical releases?
I do. I have under Legion of Speedcore. I have one CD, the Legion of Speedcore CD, with all the remixes on it. I don't know if you still can buy it because that all went through Ramon. Then I also had this release with Distorted Maniac under the extra tone under what's the name of the label? I can't get on the name of the label right now. Fuck. Gutter or something from the UK, and
Exertone Regeneration?
yeah, I think that's one, the green CD, the green black CD. And soon, I don't know how soon, but somewhere soon there will be a physical release of me doing a split with some other guy who will have a physical copies. So if people are interested in that, they can as soon as I have them, they can contact me. And
Okay.
the original releaser, of course.
Well, are there any other statements you wanted to make? Anything you wanted to talk about, or just comments before I end the interview?
Keep it speedcore, keep it underground.
Keep it speedcore, keep it underground. I like it. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on and joining me, and hopefully, people that tuned in can learn something from this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That concludes the artist Q&A segment of this week's show. We did get one paid submission this week from the artist Odious Spawn. I discovered his SoundCloud page, which only left this cryptic message as the description. Quote, "From the infinite depths of a pulsar located far into the void, the spawn was created. Brutal, tormented, it is said to walk among humans as a mysterious humanoid creature with no face. Benzina, fear the abyssal sounds of the void, for they may drive you insane." End quote. The style of his music could best be described as industrial hardcore, gabber, and doomcore. This track has a very aggressive and distorted sound to it, so let's give it a listen. That was Immortal by Odious Spawn. You can find more of his industrial hardcore on SoundCloud. Now, for the last segment of this week's episode, I'm going to be doing some more instrument demonstrations and actually start putting together a song from scratch. I'll walk you through the general process, and then perhaps in other weeks, we can start to flesh out some of the details more. Typically, when I write a song, I start out by choosing which key I want to write the song in. I'm not going to discuss the theory too much in this episode because I feel like I can explain that much deeper in another episode. But for today, I decided to choose D minor. I typically work with minor keys, and a lot of times now I just pick a random key each day I write a song to become more familiar with them. This way, as I keep practicing and keep writing more songs, I internalize the music theory like a language so I can basically regurgitate it on the fly without really having to think about it. The notes of D minor are D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and C. You're going to be playing them using a Behringer JT Mini, which is a miniature synthesizer that was influenced by the legendary Roland Jupiter 8 synth. After playing the notes of the scale and familiarizing myself with them, I then practiced the chords. The chord pattern of minor scales is minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major. Major, minor, and diminished all refer to the number of spaces in between the notes of the chord. Once I have a basic feel for the chords in that scale, I practice some different chord progressions and decide which one I want to use for the song that I'm writing. Typically, my songs have a chord progression of 2 or 4 chords, with 4 being more common. The first chord progression I play is 1, 5, 1, 2. The next one is 5, 4, 5, 1. And the third one is 1, 4, 5, 1. For this song, I decided to go with the progression 1-4-5-1. This is a really common chord progression in a lot of different genres. Things like the musical key and the chord progression you use can help give off a certain emotion or tell a story with the sound. Once I've decided which chord progression I'm going to use, typically I'll start by making a beat. The two drum machines I'm going to be using are the Roland TR-6S and the Behringer RD6, which is a clone of the Roland TR-606. I've decided to go with a simple 4 on the floor beat of 120 beats per minute. I'll start by choosing which drums I want on my Roland drum machine, and begin shaping the sound of the drums, as well as filling in where I want the drums to hit in my sequence. I usually start with the kick, then pick the other drums like open and closed hi-hats, snares, claps, crashes, cymbals, rides, and sometimes other random percussive sounds. Once I have the drums on my first Roland drum machine, I'll start programming the second drum machine, the 606 clone, in order to sync the two drum machines to create more complex rhythms. Once I've written a basic rhythm, I basically go through each piece of equipment I'm planning to use and decide which notes I want each instrument to play, as well as shaping and designing the overall sound to my liking. The notes are actually not as important as you would think, because even a simple melody can become catchy if it's repeated enough. Electronic music is largely based on repetition, but you also don't want your song to be so repetitive it ends up becoming boring. The MIDI daisy chain I have set up starts with the Roland TR-6S, goes to the Behringer RD6, then the Korg Monologue Novation Circuit Rhythm Sampler, Behringer TD3, which is a clone of the TB303, and finally ends on a Behringer MS1, which is a clone of the Roland SH101. So what I'm going to do is basically go from instrument to instrument, programming the notes I want to use into the internal sequencer of each synthesizer, and then sculpting the sound by messing with the knobs until I hit that sweet spot and find something that I really like. Once I've gone through and processed the sounds until I'm satisfied, I listen to all the instruments as they play together, and then can mix and adjust levels so each element is clearly heard in the mix. I hope you liked that demonstration of different noises. It still really only scratches the surface of the kinds of sounds these synthesizers and drum machines can make. This is kind of a little preview of more to come, at least if people enjoy the music production tips and instrument demonstrations, then I'll keep doing them. It definitely seems like people are enjoying the artist interviews, and the artists that I've been interviewing seem to be having a lot of fun doing it. So, thanks everybody for listening this week, and be sure to listen next week.